Hey everyone, Lolo B here. I am a high performance strategist and productivity specialist, and I'm here to talk to anyone who is on a health journey, on a health kick, in some sort of a group coaching program, and are looking to really maximize their efforts and feel like they have their time under control for once, right? Some of you may be moms, some of you may just be in the beginning of your journey in life and just coming out of college. I'm not sure where you're at this moment, but whatever stage you're at, this training should help you quite a bit. All right, so let's cover some of the basics. So if you're feeling overwhelmed right now, like there's so much to do, and generally you set a goal and you have a really hard time hitting it, then I'm going to talk to you about putting in some daily practices, weekly practices that can really help you get to your health goals. I have lost 75 pounds before, and then another 50 later on, years later, and I know the struggle of getting your health under control. I actually just became a vegan in the past year and went 100% vegan. Actually, it's been a year and a half now. Wow. That I've been a vegan, coming up on 2 years. And that just blows my mind because it was such a huge obstacle in front of me in the start. So let's talk about you with whatever plan that you are going for specifically, okay? So first of all, when I talk with my clients, since I help business owners generally get their productivity in order and get their systems in their business set up so that they can be successful and feel like they're on top of everything that's going on and that they're juggling in their life. And generally I'm speaking with moms, so we have to very first assess what all they're doing. So we take a snapshot of everything that they have going on, right? And so we chit chat about that. So it would be really great if you could just pause this recording right now and get a piece of paper and write down all the different commitments that you have, all the different things kind of you have going on right now that you're focusing on. And then once you've gotten that all written down, go ahead and push play again, and I'll bring you to the next step. Okay, so if you have written down everything that you have going on, then I want you to do one more thing for me. I want you to write down a chart, and I'm going to get you an example. This. Can you see this? All right, so it's sectioned into 8 parts. So I want you to kind of replicate this on your paper so that you can keep track for yourself. You're going to want to put work, home, marriage, spiritual life, kids, leisure time, money, and your health. Okay, and what you're going to do is rate them from 0 to 10, 0 being really, really poor, super poor, and 10 being really spectacular, couldn't be better, amazing. Okay, once you write this little chart down and you go ahead and rate yourself, this is how you're going to draw them in. Let me give you an example right here. Do you see this? Okay, so if it's a 6, you're going to draw it just over halfway. If it's an 8, it's going to be almost to the top. 9, even closer. You get the picture, right? So then you're going to color in these portions here, and you're going to look at how balanced all the areas of your life are, and you're going to pick out the lowest 2 areas. So a lot of times when we go on a health journey, the things that stand in our way from being productive and really hitting our goals are distractions with other goals that we're trying to tackle at the same time. So the point of this is to get an understanding of what is the most important in your life right now to be tackling, and making sure that any plans that you have for your fitness goals, whether it be workout regimen, whether it be meal prepping, and really stringent calorie routines for yourself and food logging, then you want to make sure that whatever plans that you put into place work around those low areas. Say your marriage and your kids' relationship is at the bottom. Say you have like a 2 for those areas, then you want to make sure that this new health goal of yours is not going to work you to the bone 7 days a week for 4 hours. You're going to be working out, right, every day and never spend any time with your family. You're going to want to make sure that you're sensitive to those lowest areas so that you don't catch yourself totally way past when you should have caught that, you know, your life is actually, the quality of your life is actually going down, even though you specifically, your health may be going up and you may be doing well. You want to make sure that in the whole grand scheme that you are not taking the worst, you know, the areas that need your critical attention right now, your focus. So I want to make points in your week to catch up with those 2 lowest points, whether it be your money, you know, be on top of your money while you have this new health goal. Don't go into crazy amounts of debt right now if your money rating was really low. You can be super strategic using $5dinners.com. I believe it's actually a 5, not written out 5, but it's $5dinners.com. And they even have beans and rice recipes. They have tons of them that you can make for under $5 for a family of 4 is what it's designed for. And they're super good. I've done them in the past when I was going towards a vegan diet and kind of transitioning my family into a little bit more vegan meals with me. And they loved all of those. They're not vegan, but I made them vegan or vegetarian, at least for them. So, you guys can be really strategic, but just make sure that you're taking care of those lowest areas. All right, so let's move on to the next. Okay, so now that you've looked at what all you've committed to, what are all the different things that you got kind of going on right now in your life, and then you also have written out what are your kind of best areas and what are your lowest areas right now, what should be your focus. You've just identified that focus of yours. Then you want to make sure that your health goals are not going to impact those in a negative way, right? So as you set your goals on this journey, make sure that you're keeping those in mind as now we move on to identify your obstacles, okay? So all the time when I speak to women, they have a really hard time focusing on balancing work and health journeys and, you know, all the household duties. And if they're mom, the kids and all of that, right? It's such a hard balance. And there is no perfect balance. I've never met someone who's achieved a perfect balance, but I've met people who've achieved inner peace. And I would love to just share with you my journey on that as well. I definitely have achieved a level of peace where there can be absolute chaos. There can be negative money in my bank. There can be all kinds of crazy things going on in my life, and I am not shaken. I'm not shaken. There is just an inner peace that's rock solid in me, and I love to impart that to other women, busy women, especially moms. And so it's really important to not make yourself crazy thinking that you have to have this perfect, Instagram balance, right, of your life, but that the goal is peace. The goal is peace and productivity. You don't want to achieve perfection or balance because that's really unrealistic. All right, so as we look at these obstacles, some of the things that steal your peace are mounds of dishes, mounds of laundry, right? If you have a big family, you especially hate doing dishes, I am sure. Obviously, meal prepping can be an obstacle, right? If you don't set out a day of the week to meal prep, then trying to make those good, healthy choices without a plan of attack ahead of time is going to make it really difficult, right? So if you pick Sundays and you meal prep, say all, like for me, I like quinoa and rice with like beans and grilled veggies and things, but I love to put like raw veggies on top. If I'm making a salad with black beans, I throw a bunch of raw veggies on top. If I'm making a warm meal, I throw a bunch of raw veggies on top. I love raw veggies. So on Sundays, I'll make a big batch of rice, a big batch of beans, like homemade beans, and then I will cut up in separate baggies, onions, red bell pepper, tomatoes, jalapeno or serrano, whatever I'm feeling that week. And then I'll wait until the day of to do, actually I wait until the day of for tomato too. I wait for tomatoes and I wait for avocado because they don't save well, right? So sometimes you can have those really good airtight containers that they will save well. You can put a little bit of lemon juice on your avocado and it'll save. But depending on you, you could wait on that or you could cut it up ahead of time. But that saves me huge because all I have to do then is just get my lettuce ready, throw on some beans, and then I already have all of that prepared and I can just toss whatever I want and boom, I'm off and going. So prepping that ahead of time is wonderful. Also, if you're going to be doing smoothies, juices, anything like that throughout the week, prep that all at once. It really will take you less than an hour to chop off the tops and wash off carrots and celery, and say you have spinach and things like that. Portion them out in separate Ziploc bags, toss them in there, count the calories for one, and then just replicate that, 4 or 5 times. And you can always add on the days that you are extra hungry. And I'm sure that you will get information on, exactly what you're going to be doing. But for me, it really worked to start with something that was around like 150 calories or so in a bag. And then if I'm feeling extra hungry that day, then I could add in extra things, right? As I felt like it. But getting some apples cut up in there with some, carrots and celery and spinach and kale or whatever it is that you like for your juices, then it would be really great to get that cut up ahead of time, or anything that's a little bit more time consuming like ginger, and really skinning that and peeling it and getting it chopped up in the appropriate portions. So those are some tips for saving time on meal prepping, and just doing it one day. It'll take you maybe 2 hours if you do all those types of things, maybe 2 hours for all of that. And then you'd be ready to go. But if you want to cook your meals ahead of time, obviously cook a bunch of chicken or cook a bunch of turkey patties or whatever it is that you're going to be doing, little egg white muffin, little quiches or whatever that you can pop out. Usually you can make some of those that are like 90 calories or less, with some fresh veggies in there, and then you could take them on the go. Any of those things that you can prep ahead of time is going to save you a ton of stress, frustration, and then you only have to worry about the rest of your family's meals if they don't eat the same as you. But you're not going to be caught in a pinch not knowing what you're going to eat, and then watching everyone else eat the things that you can't eat and be so much more tempted to cheat. So make sure that you meal prep, make sure you have a plan of attack for when you're out. If you're stuck and you don't have snacks in the car, which you should, always have like an apple, banana, some sort of kind of more hearty fruit or vegetable that you can have with you all the time. But if you got caught and there's a couple hours before you're going to be able to eat again and you need to eat out, have a list in your purse or on your phone of different meals that you can get out of fast food that's going to be better for you. Most places will wrap things in lettuce, right? Most places you can just ask them to remove the cheese, ask them to remove, the sauces and the fatty stuff off of it. And they actually have the calories listed online where you can actually modify it and say, okay, I got this without this and with this, and it'll tell you exactly the calorie count. So if you have some of those already figured out ahead of time, say you're going to go get an In-N-Out burger and you're going to get it protein style and you're going to get it with no sauce, you can know exactly how many calories that is in case you're ever in a pinch. You don't have to feel guilty and want to go binge on something. You know that you can go grab something really quick, right? Okay, so those are some things that can be an obstacle in your way. The other thing besides dishes, laundry, housework, and meal prepping is also, family obligations and money can also be an issue, but I already talked to you about that. If you go online and use some really good websites where moms have dedicated their years to making it easier for people to budget and meal plan, then that will definitely help you. But the biggest way that you can identify and prevent obstacles from getting in your way on your health journey, which is so important for you and your family that you be healthy, right, is to get a schedule together for yourself. Even if it's a loose schedule, having a schedule in your week of when you have open slots to work out, to, read and get some personal growth going on, which is always so important on a health journey, right? Because you're going to have so many things attacking your mind that it's really good to just infuse yourself either with the word, if you are a believer, or getting into some personal development, personal growth books, and just feeding that positive energy into you and having some time to maybe journal or write down your food at the end of the day or throughout the day. When you can pick out those time slots ahead of time throughout the week, and when you have time to work out and when you have time to do that work for yourself and be by yourself and stretch and just kind of get centered or take a long bath to recover, then your week is going to be so much more successful. So whether your kids are small and you only have nap time and evening time or before they wake up, that's fine. Just plan out, which days out of the week are you going to do that, and give yourself grace if things come up and you absolutely can't move them. But if it's just something that like, you could move it, but you don't really have to because this thing feels like it's urgent, but it's not really more important than your health journey, then really stick to those times that you've picked out for yourself. You're going to be so thankful in the end. And so I help women do that, identify kind of their best time slots throughout the week and help them set up a productive schedule for themselves, whether they have help from their husband or not, and depending on what their situation is. Okay, so moving on to number three. Number three is prioritization. Now, that is like the funnest topic, right? But I promise I can boil it down into just a few minutes. It's so important to prioritize your time because if you are just always trying to do something that you feel like is going towards what you need to do on this big, massive list, but you're not actually having it prioritized and hitting those really urgent, time-sensitive issues, then you can go months and months and months with these really urgent things on your list still because you never prioritize them through the week because you just fit in something that was easy or that felt good or whatever to do at the certain times that you did have available during the week. And you feel like you're never getting ahead, which then brings on the guilt, which then brings on depression, which then makes you not want to do your health journey, right? Yes, I've been there. I hope that you're laughing because you get that, right? So I have a very, very simple prioritization method. So it's the ABC 1, 2, 3 method. It is quite like the quadrant system if you've been in corporate and you learned that, or if you've used Franklin Covey, it is his system. It's just a little bit more simple. So say we're planning for tomorrow or for today. Let's say today. Say it was 5 a.m. and you guys are up and you guys just came back from your 5-mile run, right? That would never be me. I'm a night person. But let's say that just happened, right? And you're like, okay, I'm feeling good. I am ready to get this day going, okay? So you write down the things that you're going to do during the day, and then you're going to go through and prioritize them with the ABC 1, 2, 3. So let me tell you what the A stands for. A stands for time sensitive and important. B stands for important, but it's not time sensitive. C stands for I need to do it, but there's absolutely no urgency. You're just basically trying to keep track of it. So you prioritize them into A, B, or C. And then you go back through and you look at the A's and you prioritize them 1 through however many A's that you have, starting with the most urgent, the thing that will make the biggest domino effect of your day. It could be the biggest item. It could be the smallest item that you have to decide what is going to make the biggest domino or what is the most time sensitive. So A's are always items that I'm going to get done today. They're non-negotiable. They need to get done. B items, you're obviously wanting to get done that day, but if you don't, the world's not going to fall apart. So you can give yourself some grace on your B items, but that obviously would be the next thing you do after you finish all of your A items. Okay, so let's move into the very last and most important, I feel, most crucial portion of really staying productive. And that is finding solid accountability. So if you are in a group coaching program or you are in some sort of a group effort in losing weight and getting on a health journey, whether that be gaining weight or losing weight, I guess, right? Depending on your goals, then you want to find an accountability partner, not just your coach, not just your leader, but you're going to want to find someone who's a peer, who's going through the same journey as you, and get them to commit and you commit to them and following each other, lifting each other up. If you can get a group of 3, that's even stronger. If you can break off into those small 2 to 3 person groups and just really support each other through the process and have the additional support in addition to your leader. That can make or break your journey because your leader has so many people that they're looking at And when you have somebody who's your peer who's noticing that you're not there, who's noticing that you're not participating, instead of them just thinking like, oh, I miss that person, or they used to motivate me and I wish that they were more participating more, they're going to be like, hey girl, where'd you go? Why are you falling off? And keep you back to your why, keep you back to your goal, and keep you moving forward one step at a time, one day at a time, sometimes 1 hour at a time. So I hope that you guys got some good tips from this. I didn't want to overwhelm you. I could talk for hours on these subjects, but if you guys just remember that you need to identify your focus, remember the coaching wheel exercise, identify your obstacles, what's going to be your biggest deterrent, and how can you get ahead of it and make a plan and schedule to attack it. Prioritize. How can you prioritize your day so that you make sure that everything that you need to get done is getting done, so that you can focus on your health journey outside of that. And then number 4, getting accountability, strong accountability in addition to your leader. I hope that all of these tips were really worthwhile for you. I know that they will propel you in your journey much farther than doing it on your own. And if you guys want any additional help from me, I offer a wide variety of one-on-one coaching services, courses, group coaching programs. So if you need any support in time management, productivity, I'm your girl, and I would love to get together and help you out. So I believe that there is a link for you guys to set up a free call with me if you guys are interested. And I also have a free resource for you. I know you can do this. Dig your heels in. Don't give up. Take it one day at a time and give yourself grace. You will get there as long as you don't give up. All right. Talk to you later. Bye. A. B is that it's urgent. What is wrong with me? So, excuse my phone. Oh, I have to get this.